Hello and welcome to Outlook. This is Ubi Naqshbandi, and today I have got with me colleague and senior journalist from Kashmir, Nasir Ganai Saab. Today we will be talking about Kashmir elections. The day today results are out, and we will be discussing these results thoroughly. And finally, it seems the Kashmiris have broken silence. Instead of now stones, they have thrown votes, to be heard in New Delhi. So tell me, Nasir Saab, now the results are out. How do you see these results?
I think this is the results and large scale voting is also a very significant. We cannot compare it with stones. That is, it is kind of a framing the people a democratic exercise with a sort of sort of an stone pelting and all that. It's not that people came out in large numbers, they voted. And it is also because slogans in this elections from different political parties were about the release of prisoners, about they say, for example, addressing the aspirations of the people, largely about also silence, that people are silent, people have been silent for past so many years. So these issues were taken by the political parties. They took them to the people. And in fact, many candidates like Rahullah in his campaign, or other candidates like Wahidur Rahman Para, they would frequently talked about silence, that the Kashmiris should come out of this silence. It has been too long, that they said okay, vote should be the response to this silence. And I think the response has been very huge, and it is a landslide victory kind of for National Conference, and a huge mandate for the National Conference.
Now, two things have come out. One, PDP is losing down. PDP has got at its lowest now in its history. NC, since I guess 1996 now, this is for the first time, National Conference has garnered, this much amount of seats. So where does the difference lie? What did different NC do? Did, alliance with BJP, cost PDP dearly?
I think you're right. Absolutely, the PDP-BJP alliance. In 2014, PDP fought against on this plank that the BJP should not come to the power, or the vote should be against the BJP. But once they saw the 20 BJP getting 25 seats, they say okay, it will sort of two regions will get mixed. But PDP and the BJP are the two different ideologies. So even they had an agenda of
at that point of time, it was touted as joining of South Pole and North Pole.
North Pole, but it didn't turn well for the PDP. The alliance fell, and National Conference played it very well in this campaign. They talked about that
their leadership was continuously playing it up. They were making people understand, electorate understand that this is why this. In fact, PDP, according to National Conference, PDP paved way for this Article 370 abrogation and all.
Because they played it very well. They were saying that it was the PDP and it is alliance that led to entry of the BJP in Jammu and Kashmir, and finally it also led to the abrogation of Article 370. Whether it's a factual or not, but in a way it resonated with the people also, and they came out, and the vote was PDP didn't get any traction during.
Also, PDP lost from this Mufti bastion, Bijbihara, Iltija Mufti,
I think that is a huge setback for PDP. Iltija's loss is a huge, because
what does it reflect?
Because PDP invested much on Iltija. She was one of the main
faces of the party for
main
now.
Face of the PDP.
Post 5 August 2019.
Post August 5, 2019, she was the main face, and she would. I think one credit you should give to the Iltija Mufti. She would frequently talk about the issues. She would also talk about the silence. She would also talk about say prisoners after August 5
August 2019.
One of the vocal leaders. But in their constituency, I think the voters didn't come out in large numbers, and also that
resentment. There was some sort of anger. People were unhappy with the party.
Yeah, she was new to the constituency, and all other factors, and also delimitation and other factors played on. And NC campaigned very well. NC played very well,
and also what I think, Nasir Saab, was that PDP insiders tell me changing of this constituency. It was PDP veteran Abdurrahman Veeri who used to contest from this Bijbihara seat, traditionally considered bastion of PDP. So at the end moment, it was given to Iltija Mufti. So PDP insiders believe that it was something that didn't also gel with the party cadre. Down the line, it also set a bad signal that why are you projecting Iltija from Bijbihara. Instead, she could have been given. It was also sort of humiliation for the senior
I think one
leader.
of the reasons was that because they considered Bijbihara as a safe seat, because it was a bastion of, it was a hometown of Mehbooba Mufti. Mehbooba Mufti fought elections in 1996 from that constituency,
Emerged on the scene from
and she
Bijbihara.
won from that constituency. I think these were the reasons that they thought it would be a kind of a safe seat for the Iltija. She campaigned in the constituency, but ultimately it turned out that in the whole of Kashmir there was a wave in favor of the ANC, and the PDP's Iltija Mufti could not withstand that wave, and the Bashir
And also, in these
from that constituency.
assembly elections, in Jammu and Kashmir UT, what we saw is this late entry of Baramulla MP, Engineer Rashid. Engineer Rashid was the one who defeated former Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Omar Abdullah in the Lok Sabha elections. It was expected that Rashid would garner, a huge amount of votes also in these constituencies, but it didn't go as per the script. Why do you believe it didn't happen as per
I think a lot of reasons for that.
One of the reasons how it was different,
One reason was that Engineer Rashid, instead of concentrating on North Kashmir, he took he say for example he started contesting from the
across Kashmir seats and
across
all.
Kashmir, and it was very difficult. He had come from Tihar jail, and he thought this would also play well because political parties were saying कि Tihar का बदला वोट से, jail का बदला वोट से. Yeah, but ultimately, National Conference narrative against him was that he is playing in the BJP's hand, is how, and also PDP was saying that how much funds he was getting and all that. So they framed him in a
Agent category,
in a category of the someone of the sort of closer to the BJP. And given the abrogation of Article 370, given a lot of other things associated with the BJP, so the Engineer Rashid could not generate that sympathetic vote. And also in his speeches and other in his addresses, he was also the language which
language played a part, against former Chief Minister Mehbooba Mufti, Omar Abdullah. Then
Omar Abdullah. I think these became.
Did it also play in the minds of the voters? Do you think?
Became and the campaign by the National Conference that constantly saying that the opponent is the BJP or a sympathizer with the BJP or a close associated with the BJP. That played in favor of the
what we saw it was also in these assembly elections was the first time in these tumultuous years, 3 decades, more than 3 decades of tumult. It was Jamaat Islami, they indirectly supported Jamaat, backing these candidates, be it Sayer Ishi, Dr. Talat or another, these guys they supporting, but ultimately Jamaat, we are seeing on result day nowhere. Why?
Ultimately, I think say people would come to see these new candidates like Engineer Rashid, like Jamaat. They would get a huge crowds. But I think then
we saw, while we went through these elections, we covered these elections across Kashmir constituencies. We saw crowd was there, but it didn't translate into the votes.
It didn't translate into voters. I think the Kashmiris also realized it is better to empower the one party rather than giving the mandate to the different
fractured
mandate. It was a sort of a silent response to the political situation, and people heard everyone. People went to everyone's rally. People were very cozy to all the political leaders. But when it came to voting, I think they had taken the sort of a different. It was sort of a consensus without anyone knowing about it, without political parties, without political leaders knowing that this will happen. Even National Conference was itself surprised. Early in the morning when we were at the National Conference office, there was nobody. They were also
surprised. National Conference leaders told me this, that they were surprised. They were expecting 32 seats, but this kind of
I think they were stunned by the response, and many National Conference leaders were saying that the voters' sagacity also surprised them, that the voters will vote in this way, that they will empower one political party and give the huge huge sort of a mandate to them. They were also themselves surprised. It also shows how the ground worked well for the national
Also,
conference.
Nasir Saab, what we are seeing in Jammu, what was expected from Congress. Congress hasn't been able to do that much reflected in their performance. There is a reason to it. They sort of, in Haryana elections, they lost Jammu because they didn't vigorous campaigning was missing from Jammu and all. So Congress, it has also now put national conference in a fix. And from Jammu, BJP is getting some 25, 28 seats. What were the factors?
I think one
that
of the major
Congress
major factor for
wasn't able to garner that much seats from
I think
Jammu,
one of the major factor for the Congress was that
despite being resentment.
they instead of the Jammu was their bastion. They have been winning from Jammu. The BJP is winning from Jammu, say for past since 2014. That's the best performance of the BJP in Jammu was in 2014. But Congress have been doing well in Jammu for all along. What happened this time that Congress didn't campaign the way they campaigned in Kashmir
because of
Valley.
Haryana elections.
I don't know why they were, what was the reason.
Do you think they were wary of it? Article 370 or reservation.
So
BJP would have scored point.
They concentrated more on Kashmir. In fact, the National Conference Vice President Omar Abdullah also said, "What are they doing here? Instead of doing campaign in Jammu. They are concentrating here." I think that helped the BJP well in Jammu because Congress didn't campaign the way they should have in Jammu, and that led to the BJP winning a good number of seats, particularly in Jammu city or in and the adjacent areas, Jammu district.
Oh, okay. Now let us see, PDP's downfall. PDP again, its lowest. What were the factors? 2014 allying with BJP, then 2016, protest after the killing of this militant commander Burhan Wani. Then again, 2017-18 we saw encounters, especially in this South Kashmir and all, which is considered, PDP constituency again. Then 2019, when PDP had already, went away from the coalition with BJP. But
one of the reasons of the PDP's downfall is it is alliance with the BJP in that was played by NC well, and another I think was it was splintered with what Mehbooba said that the party was splintered by she accused New Delhi of doing it, that most of its members they joined the Apni party in the end of the day. They formed the Apni party, and the Apni party could not perform well in this
again
election.
That's very interesting. Apni party, even their president Altaf Bukhari, he even lost this Chanapura constituency from Srinagar.
And mostly what a difference between the parliamentary elections and in this elections was that despite the sentimental vote, despite the Engineer Rashid campaigning vigorously, talking about, accusing, but he could not get
that garner that much of attention
that
couldn't translate into the votes,
which could translate into votes, because at that time he was in Tihar. This time he was out of Tihar. People realized that and
he should come out of the jail. Maybe their vote will help Engineer to come, out of this jail.
Out of a jail, he could not perform well. Inside the jail, he
performed well. That's interesting.
He performed well. So people thought many were thought had he been
inside the jail, he was a hero for them.
He would have done better. Maybe because of his speeches, maybe because of not having the grassroots level, because not having the grassroots level workers and all that. National Conference is one of the oldest party having grassroots workers,
cadre-based party basically.
They have been there for long. So all these factors helped him, and other Engineer Rashid. That's a new party. They recently won.
Although his brother from Rashid Ahmed has won this Langate constituency.
In Langate constituency, because that is the constituency which was in Rashid's constituency. That's why.
Tihar jail reflected, resonated across constituencies in North Kashmir.
They performed well there because they have a grassroots level workers over there, not in other constituencies. I think that became the reason he lost.
That became the reason.